Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Today we're going to be working with MC Escher again, a famous artist that was known for his tessellations. Today we're going to be learning rotation tessellation. So let's just get started with the pledge. So here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for morning. Good morning, Pat. How are you doing, Mrs. Lyons? Good morning. So if you weren't here yesterday, that's okay, because today we're going to learn another tessellation. And so this is what we learned yesterday. So if you were not here yesterday, don't worry about it. The needs that you will need for this project, you will need a pencil, you'll need an eraser, you'll need a 3-inch by 3-inch square kind of, I've used an index card. Good morning, Mom. Hi, guys. And so if you weren't here yesterday, that's fine. Yesterday, we looked at and learned how to create a tessellation that transfers, and it goes from, it's like it's following itself. So we took just a normal square, changed the area of the square to make this tessellation. Today, we're going to be learning how, and then you can pick out of all these three which one's your favorite, and then you can choose which one you want to do. So this is a rotation tessellation, and you tessellate differently. Here's another one. These two are done by former TCE students. So these rotate around, and then these are MC, oh sorry, gosh, guys. These are MC Escher's versions of rotation tessellations. You can kind of see. Good morning, Pete and family. Good morning. So if you weren't here yesterday, don't worry about it, because it's kind of like we're going to start over again and redo this. And then here's another rotation tessellation. And then here's, again, another rotation tessellation done by MC Escher. And this one's really cool because it looks like they're spinning around in a circle. Good morning, Laura. So these are Escher's versions of tessellations, and these are some of my students' versions of rotation tessellations. And again, it's up to you to choose which one you like and which one you want to do. Again, this was the one that we did yesterday. I made an elephant. I would love to see if you guys made some from yesterday. So again, you're going to get out your note card paper, or I'm sorry, your index cards, and you need two, and again, you need to be exacting, and hopefully you might have one already cut by 3 by 3. If you don't, what you do is you take one index card and you make it tall, and you take another index card and you put it on top, and you make sure that it looks pretty perfect, because if it's not perfect or exacting, then you're gonna have problems. And again, you make sure that they look good. You draw your line there, just like that. So this will become a 3 by 3-inch square. And instead of just cutting it with scissors, you wanna take and fold it so that you get a nice 90-degree angle. And you can fold that card, and then after you're done folding it and like kind of making that paper a little bit weak, you could either tear it or you could cut it. It's up to you. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one today. There we go. And then I've cut it, and now I have a 3-inch by 3-inch square index card that I'm going to use. Okay, so same rules apply as yesterday. So if you are getting your card out, that's fine. And again, if you have an index card that has lines on it, it's really good to use that side. Here's some do's and don'ts. So the do's are, you go corner to corner, or vertice to vertice, so corner to corner. You make one continuous line, which is called a contour line in art. So you want to make sure that you don't make that line to, this is a don't. you don't want to make it like this. You're never going to get a single cut out of that. That's setting yourself up for failure.
That is way too hard to cut.
Right, because you're going to have to actually cut this out and make this an actual piece that you'll use. And again, you don't want to go too crazy and overflow it. I mean, I guess you could on that side one like that, but, you know, too deep into it. I'd like to say, you know, halfway, like that. Those are some don'ts. You know, here's another thing that happens is that, like, you know, maybe you draw way too down and then you get way too close over here to that edge, and then you have no way to draw this new line out here to make your second line. And you only draw from this corner to this corner and this corner to this corner. So I'm showing you some do's and don'ts. And remember, you're gonna have to do this with one single cut. And I'd like for yours to look a little bit different than what you did yesterday, if you were with us yesterday. So what you're gonna do is, again, you're gonna put a dot right here and a dot right there, and hopefully you've got your card ready. And again, you could follow along with me if you want to. You're just going to draw one continuous line. I'm going to make mine just a little different than I did yesterday, maybe with, I don't know, a right angle there, and then bring that back to my corner. There we go, just like that. So whatever you do, remember, don't make it too crazy. And don't make it too hard on yourself, because you're going to have to actually cut that out to fit back in like a jigsaw. And then you're going to do the same thing from this corner to this corner. And it's really important. Where my students have messed up in the past and things don't tessellate from them is I've looked at their piece of art and they haven't done it corner to corner. They've gone corner to some weird edge. Like, they'll come up to me and say, "But Miss Meyer, mine's not tessellating." And, you know, I'll look at it and it'll be like this. It'll be from here to here. And I'm like, you didn't go corner to corner. It's so important that you go corner to corner for this to tessellate. That's a really, that's like the one rule you need to follow in this. If you're going to follow anything, that's the one rule for MC Escher's tessellations. And it's just you're manipulating or you're changing the area. So then now I'm going to make another one here. So I have some width and maybe do some fun curves and bring it back down to the edge. All right, so I have my two sides. I've drawn from my top left to my bottom left, from my top left to my top right. And I've made two contour lines. Those are lines that you could take that line like this, and if I had a string on here, you know, it was one continuous line, and pretend like that's a string, whatever I'm doing here, and then you could pull off that line. You could actually pull that line off and it would be one. This is mine, and look, this is Lindsay's. Lindsay's is much different than mine. I love this. It looks totally different. So we have two totally different ideas that we are using to create our rotation tessellation today by Escher. So Lindsay's looks much different. The thing that I would caution Lindsay here is that this is very thin, so she might want to just bring that up a little bit, but because you'd have to draw that so many times that could bend. So just cautioning her there on that. That's the one thing that I saw. So you're going to pick up your scissors and you're going to actually cut, and I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. With your scissors, one continual line. So like you can't take this and then when you're cutting it, you can't say, well, I'm going to make two pieces out of this. If you goof, that's your new line. And if it gets too hard for you, then just stop and reevaluate. There we go. That looks good. And you got to go corner to corner as best as you can. Voila. And that piece should fit right back in. And you can see I did not cut on my original lines. I cut close to them, but I didn't get them perfect, and that's fine. That's my new way of learning. I just wanted to show you while you guys are cutting yours out, how difficult this would be to cut right here. So like, this is why I'm telling you, please don't do something like this. It's so difficult, even for me, to cut something like this, and you can see I'm turning my paper as I move, and I'm missing things, and look, I've already messed up. Look at this. This is already starting to wanting to fall off and move away. That just shows you how this could go so super wrong if you try to make things so small. So don't do that to yourself. Really don't. You don't need to have everything elaborate. It's already enough that you have got this, you know, that you're already manipulating a square and changing a square up. It's already cool enough. You don't need to go super crazy on that. So again, when you get that done, this is just like you do your transfer like we did yesterday. This is called the rotation. You're going to cut your other one too. Again, getting on that corner as nice and neat as you can, making one continuous cut. And don't worry, like I said, don't worry if you don't stay on your pencil line. That's just a guide for you, the artist. And it doesn't matter if you stay on your pencil line. The only thing that matters is that you get to that corner. And there we go. All right, so now I have my 2 pieces cut out. So I have 3 pieces total, and they should fit back together perfectly, just like that. So last time we took one and we slid it down and we adhered it, and then we took the other and we slid it across to make it a transfer. Well, rotation is, again, will you hand me that iPad again, Lindsay? Rotation, again, is like taking your tessellation and having it twist around. So let me show you again what we're talking about. So in this tessellation right here, it's twisting around. And then when we look at Escher's tessellation right here, you know, it looks like these lizards are like twisting around each other. And then these fish are twisting around each other. So obviously when we're making this feeling, or we're feeling this, and then there's another fish with the rotation, and you can see there's dark and light. And so when you color these in, you could use, you know, a dark tone, and then you could use a light tone for the other. And I was just coloring yesterday some of the transfer one, you know, with like a purple color pencil. You can see that, and I would have done purple all the way across, and then I would have probably done yellow. But again, that was just my practice. So here's the thing. I want you guys to get some tape. Now, if you're all ready to go on, what we're going to do is we're going to take this tape. We're going to place it on the top. Now, watch. This one, we're going to move this one out of the way. Bye-bye. We're not going to worry about that one right now. And this one's going to actually rotate around to the side and come over on the edge like this. And again, you cannot overlap that because you cannot change the area, and you're going to rotate it down. So let me show you again. It's almost like it's on a hinge, and it's like swiveling. That's what I like to tell my students, like swivels. It's swiveling over. So you're going to place this one right here. Again, when you place it down, you want to make sure that there's no gaps. Like if you have a gap like that, that's too much. If you overlap like that, it won't work. So again, you want to take this and lay it next to it and tape it down nice and neat. I got a nice neat side edge there. And if you have tape that overlaps, you want to cut that tape off, and then you're going to turn it over and place some tape. Oh, mine's too low. So I need to take mine off and redo, because it would not have tessellated correctly if I did that. So I need to redo. And again, I'm going to just take my time, reposition this, and you can take your tape off very easily to do that if you need to.
Also, something that I've been doing is I've been taking the tape, and I cut the tape into small pieces.
That's a good idea, Lindsay.
So
take the tape and cut it into small pieces.
Like with mine, as you guys can see right here, it's a really small area, so I cut a really small piece of tape, if you guys can see that. so it can fit perfectly right there.
Good job, Lindsay. So again, you're gonna take your tape, and like I like to tear mine too. Lindsay likes to cut hers. I'm gonna tape that down. There we go. And then I'm gonna turn it over and tape it down to the back. And again, you want to practice folding this forward and back so that you have that fold. And then I'm gonna put some more tape on that back because that doesn't feel like it's secure enough. And again, this is a pattern. And a pattern is something that you're going to use over and over again. So this will be your main source. And if you lose this pattern, it's kind of like you got to start over again, unfortunately. It's too hard to take this and try to make a copy of that. And yesterday I showed you guys how to do a pencil transfer at the end. So if you need to make one, you can. But again, you want to be able to fold that. So now that's a much different look than yesterday. Yesterday, again, we went down. And then so now we have this next piece right here. That looks awesome. And so what we're going to do with that piece is the only place that that can go is obviously rotating. And you can see, you know, it rotates on that hinge and it goes down here and it lines up just like that, corner to corner, like this. Again, you take this piece, you rotate it down, and it's going to line up corner to corner, and then you're going to place your tape down. And remember, it should butt up to it, and place your tape down. Turn it over to check for how it looks. That looks really good. Tape that down. And taping can take some time, but remember, you're investing the taping into something that's going to, you know, be used quite a bit on your project. So the taping part is important. And so again, make that fold and get that fold nice and neat. I need some more tape there. So I'm gonna put a little tape there. Awesome. And then on this one, you're gonna write RO, because tomorrow we're gonna learn reflection. Reflection's kind of cool. So again, we're learning 3 of thousands of tessellations that MC Escher made. He made thousands, and we're gonna write RO on this when we're done. So again, when you get done with this, you can take a scrap piece of paper, kind of like what I did yesterday with my elephant. That's all right. Lindsay's struggling. We're going to wait for Lindsay. That's fine. Let me see yours. Yeah, it's kind of hard. You just got to be really precise with it. So as we're waiting for you to finish up, I'm just showing you what you would do later. You know, you're going to take this on a piece of paper. And again, I'm encouraging you to draw this out more than once, more than twice on a separate piece of paper. And you can then decide what you think it looks like. Again, a lot of us, or I especially, like to think of mine as animals because I am an animal lover. But again, it could be things. It could be whatever you want, whatever you're into. Okay, so this tessellation looks a lot like my elephant from yesterday, so I've got to be very careful that I don't say, okay, well, I'm going to do another elephant today just because that looks like the elephant I did yesterday. And it does look a lot like that, but that's okay. So I'm just going to cut this out real quick so I don't have everything there. And then I'm just going to turn it around and start looking at it. And again, you can start like trying to imagine things or think of things that this could be. And I'm doing this while you're taping and finishing yours up. All right, let's see. What do I see here? I see a dog. I totally see a dog. Right here, 2 ears, the snout, a mouth, cute. And then he could be playing, and that could be a football right there. So let me show you what I see here. And again, you don't want a billion lines on here, because if you put a bunch of lines on here, you're gonna have issues, because remember the pencil transfer that we did yesterday, and I ended up finishing mine up. You can see how much abuse that gets. And if you have 1,000 lines, it's going to take you a long time to make this tessellation, and you're going to get angry at it. So again, you know, looking around, trying to see something. And today I'm just trying to see something different. And again, I saw the dog. So, you know, I could make a little nose right here. I'm just showing you, you don't do this right now. I'm just showing you while you're finishing your taping. And, you know, I could put a little puppy eye right here. I could do a puppy smile right there. Couple dots for fun.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute? Have an ear here. Do an ear there. Again, keeping it really easy. I could do a collar. And again, keeping it easy. And again, he could be playing with a football. I said that I saw maybe a football there. You know, you could have one of your favorite toys. It looks like
Scotty.
Yep, looks kind of like a Scotty. You're right, Mom. And then, you know, this could be a front paw right here. So you could draw another paw that's kind of close to that football. Again, you could draw a line here. This could be a back. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we could do that as the ground. I don't think I like that as a back leg right there. Let's see. That's the back of him. That could be a foot running. And the little Scotty's running. Or the little doggy's running. And then you could just make all this ground. And voila, you have a tessellation that you could color in and do whatever you wanted to do without so many lines. There you go. There's a tessellation. Ta-da. And you really want to keep your line spacing down. And this could just be, you know, green for ground. And then if you were doing the opposite color, it could be red. You could make the Scotty black in one. You could make it a Westie white in the other. You could make the football brown in one and tan in the other. You can make the collar red in one and blue in the other. You know, the opposites. So, you know, when you get that done, you would want to cut this out. I'm just showing you while you guys are finishing taping. You know, you would want to cut this out because this would be your pencil transfer. Oops, let me see. And then I'm just doing kind of a bubble cut around this because I don't want to waste a lot of pencil. So I'm bubble cutting this around, and a pencil transfer is just an old-fashioned form that we used to use in art. There we go. And you would just turn this over, color everything in on the back dark, like that. Voila. Color, color, color. All this dark. And again, you want to use your pencil fairly dark. And you would reuse this pencil. You would have to go back through and rework this pencil in. And again, I'm just kind of scribbling my intentions. And then obviously you would take this to your piece of paper and then press down, and you can see it right there. Isn't that nice? And then that way you will have exacting drawings when you are drawing with your tessellation. So that's how to do the pencil transfer. All right. So what you're going to do now, hopefully everybody has theirs cut out and taped. You're going to just get a practice piece of paper or just like a copy piece of paper like I have right here. And I show you how to tessellate this. So this is different than yesterday, but we kind of start with the same rules. So we're going to start up in this corner. We're going to take our tessellation, no matter what it is. We're going to fold it in on both sides. We're going to start in that upper left-hand corner, and we're going to really make sure that it's on the edge of the corners. Now watch. We're going to take this, lift it out. Now watch. We're going to draw our line on here. Again, we will not see the full tessellation until the second row, second tessellation in. And we're going to draw this out, trying our best. Like that. Just like that. That looks really good. So again, we're going in our corner. We're laying our tessellation down. And I'm going to have Lindsay come over here and do hers real quick, so that if you didn't get mine the first time, you can look at her and she's going to explain it to you as she goes.
So, like Miss Myers said, you have to fold it, and you see the right corner, right angle, and then you're going to match it up with your angle there, and then you have to open it up again, and you, as you guys can see, I kind of messed up there. You just have to make sure that it's perfectly in the corner, and then you make sure that this edge of this tape right here is also matched up on the corner. This is the most important part because this is kind of setting the tone for the rest of the tessellation. So after that, then I think this is pretty perfect. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to trace out what I did. And you have to hold it down, and you can see mine has a bunch of little squiggly lines, so moving your fingers is okay. And you just have to take your time, and talking and doing it is not necessarily the best idea because you have to focus. So like Miss Myers says, you guys can turn off your voices when you do this. And you just have to take your time and move your hands if you need. And go around. And there you go. Mine's taped to the paper now somehow. But yeah, it got taped to the paper. And then as you guys can see where some of my lines don't really like make sense, where they're kind of faded, you can go back and just color them in because your eye knows what to do. And then yeah, you have your first one.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you, Lindsay. So that was a double show for you guys because let me tell you, this can get a little kooky. So yesterday, good job, Lindsay, by the way.
Thank you.
So look, yesterday we went one right after that. Ooh, what happens here? What's going on there? That's not working now. Okay, so watch. You're going to take your finger. You're going to put it on this tessellation and you're going to rotate. Oh, actually, we do see our full one in the next one. So see where this piece fits in? So we're rotating it again. We're rotating it like it's on a hinge. We're going to rotate it, and you might have to rotate yours a different way, but whatever way it fits. And then that top corner, it's really important that it stays on the paper. So if you're going like this and rotating it, that's not gonna work. So look, you need to rotate it so that it fits in here nice and neat and that it fits on the top. Oh, we do get to see our full tessellation. I lied. Huh. It's been a long time since I've taught these. So we're now going to draw this in, again, holding our paper down, taking our time, doing the very best that we can, and now it's going to rotate for us. Again, a different way of tessellating, totally different. Very cool though. And just take your time. This one's kind of cool. This is a lot of people's favorite. MC Escher did a lot of these. Again, there we go. Fix up your lines that need to be fixed, like Lindsay said. You know, you got to use your eye. For me, I'm going to go back and put my pattern there because I kind of missed that part really good. There we go, and there we go. Now we have our very first tessellation in. Ta-da. Now, again, the same thing. You're going to rotate again. Look, watch what happens as I rotate. I'm going to fit that in, and now I've got to make sure that this line is on the top of my paper. Even if it doesn't fit perfectly right there, that's okay. It's so important that this line matches up to the top of the paper. And now you can draw your next one in as you go.
My line does not match up like whatsoever.
Let's see. So then you need to move. So let me show you Lindsay's real quick. So she's saying her line's not matching up whatsoever. So this is what happens to me when students come to me and they're like, there's a problem, Miss Meyer. You know, my line's not matching up. So now what Lindsay needs to do is she needs to just go ahead and trust this and not worry about that. Okay? She just needs to trust her top and start her line here like this. See? There you go, Lindsay. And I've kind of started you. So even if it doesn't match up perfectly right there, it just, you know, we're humans. We make errors, and that's okay. So, oh, that's my transfer one. I'm like, why is this one not working? That's why it's good to label them. So I've got my rotation one back again.
Why'd you go so far to the side?
Because it just had to be.
Okay.
It just had to be like that, Lindsay. All right. Because I had to match it up on the top. Lindsay wanted to know why I went so far to the side on hers. I said because I had to match her top up. And that's okay. And then there we go. Again, we work left to right, going across our paper. That looks so good. It's starting to rotate, and again, we'll rotate it through one more time right here, and we'll get almost a second tessellation all the way in. This paper is a little bit bigger than what I used. No, it's not. It's the exact same that I used yesterday. There's a little bit of a 1/2 inch off, and again, trying to make sure that that stays up.
Oh, mine looks like a dragon.
Oh, Lindsay says hers looks like a dragon. See, the more you look at it, the more you're gonna see what you think it looks like. You need to spend some time with your tessellation. It's, you know, your brain will figure it out. It will, I promise. Your brain will figure out what yours looks like. It just needs to be simple. You just can't have too much. Oh, look how cool that looks. I've got my first row in, and it's starting to already rotate a little bit for me. Once we start the second row, it's really gonna rotate, and it's gonna be cool. So now look, obviously, I've gotta find where that fits in. And remember, we're on the lined part. So if you go on this side and you try to figure it out, it's not gonna work. So look, I've started here, I see that. I want to make sure that this tessellation, I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, hold on just a second. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna make sure that this tessellation touches my edges right here. That's the most important part. And I kind of lay it in here and hold it down, trace it out. And it's just repeating this over and over and over again by rotating it around your paper. Where'd you goof? That's all right. If you goof, you goof. That's all right. You can always erase. And there's the first one in. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. It's like they're back up to each other. They butt up to each other right now. You can see that it's almost like they are touching each other or they're spinning around, and that's what we want in this lesson. So I'm going to look at Lindsay's. Make sure that that touches the edge there. Perfect. A little bit more. Make sure that that line goes across. Good. And then obviously you can see as we go through, you're going to have to draw less and less because, you know, you don't want to draw over these lines that you've already drawn. That's just a waste. So now I'm going to fill that in right here. It's already showing me where to go and what to do. So once you get that first line down, it sets the tone like Lindsay was saying. That's a good analogy, Lindsay. It sets the tone on how the rest of your tessellation is going to be. And again, there we go. And we're going to turn it and rotate it again. And you're just going to go through your whole entire paper and rotate this through. And if this is the one that you love, and we're going to do one more tomorrow. We're going to do, like I said, MC Escher did thousands of these. I'm going to sharpen my pencil real quick. Sorry about that. MC Escher did thousands of these, so we're only learning 3 to choose from because I want you to have choice. I really do. I think if I just taught you transfer, that wouldn't be fair to you, the artist. I want you to have choices. So again, I want you to have choices on your artwork. There we go. There's another one. And then again, rotating right here. And again, I'm gonna fall short of my rotation. You can see, look, that's not as perfect as I wanted it to be, but you know what? I'm just gonna line it up, go for it, make sure that I've got it as close as I can, and do the very best I can. Like I said, I am not a computer. And then once you get that done, you're gonna go to the bottom and start again. If you have a chance to use your edge, which I do have a chance to use my edge right here, I'm gonna use that edge. I'm gonna make sure that this touches the bottom, that touches there, and if it overlaps a little bit, that's all right. Again, going through, whoops, trying to draw through this, and then it'll be all tiled out for you, nice and neat, just like this when you get done. And again, this paper is a little short off of 12. You can see that, so I'm just gonna try to keep it going the best I can. And right now, I only have to draw one side and moving it around here and just rotating it each time and kind of fitting it in like a puzzle piece. It's so cool. It's like a puzzle. And then the last one, I don't even need to draw, I don't think, anything on. I've got to check. You got to check too, because sometimes students will forget to draw the bottom on like the last one or the side. So look, on this one, I might say, oh, I'm done. No, you're not, because you've got to draw this area right here. See that? So you've got to draw that part in right there. And when you get all of this done, you can take, there's mine, isn't that cool? It definitely flips around. And like I said, I love the bigger paper. I totally love the bigger paper for this, the 12 by 18, because I want to see this really tessellate, and I want to see it tessellate on and on and on and on and on forever. But the bigger the paper, the more exciting it's going to look. But again, if all you have is, you know, copy paper, that's what you're going to have to deal with, and that's okay. That's life. So then, obviously, you can take your one that you've made, and again, I would try to use like a thin cardboard to make this one that you're going to use for your pencil transfer, because it's going to take a lot of abuse. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just cutting this out so I can get some points of reference, because I've done this bubble cut right here. There we go. And then I'm going to go through real quickly and do a little bit more over where I think I'm going to have some areas that need it to be seen. And again, just taking my pencil on the back of this and really just coloring it in dark and deep so that graphite will transfer over onto my paper. And again, I don't know really where my lines are going, so I'm just covering everything up. And when
that one's a bit tricky.
Was it? That looks good. Let me show you Lindsay's too. So, Lindsay's looks like this. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. So then when you get done, you can lay this in right here. I'm going to turn him so you can see him. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just pencil transfer this in. I'm going to get it as best as I can. And, you know, take your lines, take your time. I'm using medium to heavy pressure on this so I can see this transfer. And again, I'm not going to color anything in. I'm just using it for line. And again, you will go over this, you know, 12 times, maybe even more, and that's okay. But again, less lines, the better, trust me. So, look, there you go. I can see it. Let me go ahead and sharpen my pencil again. So now, I would go through and outline this on there. And I can see it, clear as day. And when I get done, I will start my next one. And then that way, they'll all look uniformed or the same. And that way, it'll look really awesome. Just like that. See that? And then so I can just take this, twist this here, you know, or put this here, and start my next one and go all the way through the paper, just like I did this yesterday and finished this one yesterday while we were gone. And then you can choose your colors in color pencil, or you can use crayon or whatever you want. But I suggest you use light and dark. And that's it for today, guys. So tomorrow is going to be the last one that we're going to teach you, and it's going to be reflection. And reflection is really cool. We're going to take our actual tessellation and we're going to flip it over. Ooh. So it reflects itself. So I'm excited to teach you that one tomorrow too. And then for our last week, we are going to do a fun drawing assignment using cups. So I hope you guys all had fun with this MC Escher lesson today. Keep art in your heart, and we'll see you later. And I would love to see some of these tessellations and see what you're doing with them. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to get in contact with me, because I know that this can be tricky, but it's a lot of fun too. And it's definitely using math, art, science, area, all that good stuff to create a neat, fun tessellation. Have a great day, guys. Keep art in your heart. Love you.